If you're watching this as a straight cisgender person who's never been a part of the LGBTQ community, how comfortable would you feel walking down the street holding hands with someone of the same sex as you, of roughly the same age, so not a child? Yes, even in somewhere as privileged as Britain, we have equal laws to an extent for some of the LGBT community. We do not yet have equal laws for trans people. And yes, we have equal marriage, and lots of people not in the LGBTQ plus community say to me, well, you know, you're kind of done, you've got your marriage. It is still not safe for me to walk down a street holding hands with a female partner. And unfortunately, this happened to me quite recently in London, in the daytime, in front of lots of people. We got abuse, and nobody stepped in, which shows me there's still a lot of work to do. And that is somewhere like Britain, where we do have at least some rights on paper. There is not one country yet in the world where those rights are equal in practice, and there are 11 countries in this world where we can be stoned to death. There is a lot of work to do. The international element of it is really important for me. The fact that often when I travel, I might not be safe, but also then the locals are often even less safe. Add on to that things like the Home Office in Britain trying to make people prove that they are LGBTQ and going through hideous processes to try and do that. There's just so much work here that needs to happen.
I want my children to be able to grow up and be able to feel included in society, whoever they are, and that's just so important to me. And so anything I can do to help celebrate and recognise and make a stand against homophobia, biphobia and transphobia, that's a really important thing in my book.
In my opinion, it's so important that we mark days such as International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia for a whole plethora of reasons. Firstly, these hatreds exist and they continue to exist, and in some cases they are even rising. There is an increasing tide of negativity affecting trans people, and that's something I believe that we should address instantly, and it's really important that we do so.
Of course, as education professionals, we have a statutory expectation to prevent discrimination and bullying towards all diverse individuals within our school communities, including those who identify as LGBTQ+. And sadly, over the last couple of years, particularly during the COVID experience, too many LGBTQ+ people were met with online hate and abuse when they were spending time online. And it goes without saying that every school stakeholder should be trained up and informed to know how to report and act positively and proactively on unwelcome online behaviours.
Because it's about acknowledging the barriers and some of the prejudices that people within the LGBTQ+ community face, and about understanding how we can be inclusive allies and be allies in order to support and advocate for people within those communities, and also about what we can do to really ensure that we stop that prejudice and that we're upstanders, not just bystanders.
But I also think that another key reason is that there is such a valuable form of solidarity that comes when people work together, have positive conversations and stand in partnership with each other. That includes people who are within the community and who are allies to the community. And I believe that the best way that we can affect positive change is by having those conversations and taking concrete steps.
And historically, our education system wasn't geared up to celebrate and learn about them. And we absolutely must do moving forward.
When I was growing up, I never heard anything about LGBTQ plus people in school because I was being educated under Section 28, which was the law that Margaret Thatcher put in place to say that it was illegal to do so, not dissimilar to the law that's in Russia right now. And I have seen over the years that shift, and I have seen the benefits of what that does for our children now in terms of inclusion. I see young people who are able to be comfortable to be themselves, and therefore they are able to, guess what, access education because they know that they're not going to be told off or in trouble for being who they are. This piece around the education is so vital. It is making such a difference for all people to be more welcomed and therefore able to access learning. And isn't that all what we're supposed to be doing anyway?
I believe that education is an astonishingly powerful tool where we can really affect positive social change. If you think about the experiences that young people have as part of the education system, these experiences should be enriching, should be diverse, and should be empowering. And I believe that if we are able to ensure that our offers are those things, then we can really take positive steps to ensuring that the kind of hatred that exists within our society is really dampened down and eventually that end goal of being eradicated. I believe that we can take those steps to ensure that our society and our world is one that is free of hatred. And if we do the things that we need to do as educators to ensure that can happen, I feel incredibly positive about what we can actually achieve.
I think that education plays a really important role actually in order to ensure that we're combating really harmful views, and through things like PSHE sessions and form time sessions and assemblies, we can really ensure that we are addressing some of the behaviours and harmful behaviours that we see in the prejudices that people within those communities face, and also showcasing to our young people what they can do and what we can do as adults to really ensure that we're supporting those within the LGBTQ plus community, and that's some of the things that we've done in my school, where Nick Bentley, for example, has led on assemblies and form time sessions, really ensuring that our students understand what they can do in order to make a change and support people from the LGBTQ plus community, so that we can be upstanders and stop homophobia, transphobia and biphobia.